Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? So let's see. I wanted to go ahead and analyze this with Kevin Spacey appearing in court on the sexual assault charge. I think this is very much important because it, sexual assault is wrong on so many levels, but when it comes to children, that's just so deeply just horrifying. But anyways, let's just take a look at it, and I'll probably be looking at the body language um, throughout the process. His lawyer's probably telling him to just relax. It's gonna be all right. He looks nervous, reassuring him. Probably telling him a joke. Kevin Spacey, he looks pretty nervous in my opinion. Looking at his attire, I look at his shirt, I kind of visualize Static with his dress shirt. Maybe he's deep in thought. He's probably thinking through his head how's this gonna play out, different scenarios, what he could say. Of course, he has his lawyer representing him.
We're
So
all right. Mr. Court, facts and Kentucky. May be seated.
Hang on just a minute. Folks, I made a statement earlier, it probably bears repeating. While you're all welcome to sit here and observe, no one should interfere or interrupt these proceedings. If you do, you risk being held in contempt, which carries a fine or incarceration in some cases, or certainly being removed from the courtroom. So by all means, sit and observe, but do not interrupt these proceedings. And with respect to the press, we have the pool cameras up here, and other members of the press, if you have your laptops or your telephones, you can communicate with them in the course of doing your job, but you cannot take pictures or record. Anyone violates these requirements, your phone can be taken from you, and as I said, likewise, you can be held in contempt. So I don't anticipate anybody will act contrary to my instruction, and I hope you won't. And I thank you in advance for your consideration in that regard. So, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
1888 CR 0598 Commonwealth versus Kevin S. Fowler.
Thank you. All right.
No record.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Fowler, this complaint charges that in the town of Nantucket on July 8, 2016, did commit indecent assault and battery on a person 14 or over.
Sir, if you're charged with another offense while this matter is open, you can be held for 90 days without bail. Mr. DA, request beyond the bail warning, any?
Beyond the bail warning, Your Honor, the Commonwealth is requesting that Mr. Spacey be ordered to stay away and have no contact with the named victim and his family.
All right, certainly the court will impose those conditions. Anything additional?
that's a fair request.
Okay, all right. No requests in terms of movement or staying within the United States. Anything
As
else?
required by the court judge and as required by the probation department, our only request specifically is to stay away.
Okay, all right. Well, those will be the conditions then. Sir, you'll meet with probation.
So basically, this they're going through legal proceedings, but this is how the legal process works, and the lawyer has to make specific requests that the judge will honor. So basically, the lawyer is requesting that the defendant stay away from the person. If you don't understand that, stay away from the person pressing the charge. Just to avoid complications. And then, of course, if the suspect, who is Kevin Spacey, if he violates those requests, which the judge honored, then of course he will suffer the consequences for those actions.
Sign those conditions, you'll be required to stay away and have no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim. All right. I know there was a motion filed by defense. I had occasion to look at it. Mr. DA, have you had occasion to look at it?
We've reviewed them, yes, Judge.
Okay. You want to be heard on the motion, or
Briefly, Judge,
Sure.
regarding the motions to preserve, we agree that anything that is currently in our custody and control, we have to preserve, we will preserve, and we will turn over in discovery.
sure?
As it relates to the motion to preserve itself, we're suggesting at this point that the scope that is being requested by counsel is overly broad. It's asking for July 7th and July 8th of 2016, but all the way up to the present. We suggest that based on what's been filed up to the present is overly broad. The affidavits in the motion suggest that Mr. Little and his girlfriend or another individual were texting contemporaneously on the 7th into the 8th. And then it says by providing this other information, we'll likely see that something happened or that he talked about it further. But there's no basis for that information within the motion to preserve. We would suggest that it's a fishing expedition at this point, and that the motion should be narrowed at least to the 7th and 8th of July of 2016.
So, I mean, this is pretty difficult for me to interpret. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but basically he's saying, okay, let's narrow the scope of this legal proceeding and what's going on, and just focus on the interactions of going on with Kevin Spacey, which led to basically the charge happening and his illegal, illegal interactions with the defendant, because the defendant was a minor. So let's take away the overly broad scope of this entire thing and let's just focus on what matters. I hope I interpreted it that right.
It's a fair point. Mr. Jackson or Ms. Valero, I don't know who's going to respond, but feel free.
I'll be happy to respond. Alan Jackson on behalf of Mr. Spacey.
Sure.
Your Honor, I don't believe at this point that we need to talk about the scope. That's something in terms of a subpoena. In other words, what I subpoena or what I serve on those individuals might require a discussion or some litigation about the scope. All I'm asking at this point is that we preserve it. In other words, this is data that we believe is not only potentially exculpatory, but likely exculpatory for Mr. Spacey. I simply don't want to see any of that data deleted, destroyed, even inadvertently, or in other words, in any other way manipulated. I don't think it's a burden at all on the Commonwealth, nor on the two individuals named in the motion, MD and the complaining witness, to simply say, I'm ordering you not to destroy anything, so that Mr. Jackson, Ms. Valero, the Commonwealth can litigate in front of the court at some point whether or not there is exculpatory information that leads all the way up to today. In other words, all I'm asking for is just to put a bubble around that data so it doesn't get destroyed. I'm not saying I get it yet. I just don't want it destroyed yet.
I feel like it's important for me to bring this part up, but it almost appears as if he's trying to, and I could be wrong, but it appears that Kevin Spacey's lawyer is trying to protect anything from happening that basically happened with Donald Trump and the Mueller investigation. It's already been confirmed that Mueller deleted a lot of the text. I think it was 17,000 text messages. It could be less. I'm not sure, but it already appears that Mueller deleted the text messages as evidence between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. So maybe this is a preemptive move to stop that from happening, like it happened against Donald Trump.
Further response?
We can only control, Judge, at this point what's in the care, custody, and control of the Commonwealth.
Right.
As far as information that would be contained within the specific service providers of these individual cell phone carriers, well, that's different. We have no control over that, Judge. So we would suggest that as far as the preservation goes, whether it be to the individuals directly or to the providers.
See,
that,
Kevin Spacey's
it'd be
lawyer is
limited
looking
at this
very
point to the 7th
intently
and the 8th until more information can be provided as to
at the
why
other
it might be
lawyer.
exculpatory versus a fishing expedition.
Right. I haven't seen any of the police reports, so I don't know what, except for your affidavit, I don't know what information that you base this request upon. I do think that the 7th and 8th certainly it would be appropriate the time span to preserve the evidence, but I understand that even if the motion is allowed, it can be modified down the road and it can be tightened up. And so I'm inclined to allow the motion. I don't know that I'm going to do it all the way up until, from the 7th and 8th up. I mean, I may give you maybe 6 months worth of preservation, but I don't know that I'm going to require that everything be preserved. Go ahead.
Well, certainly at this point, that would be satisfactory. 6 months worth of preservation, I think, is better than nothing, and I'm certainly willing to accommodate the Commonwealth and the court's guidance
All right.
on that.
So from was it July 7th?
July 7 and 8 of 2016,
Okay.
and 6 months thereafter.
All right, 6 months thereafter, the motion will be allowed. At least there'll be a requirement that the cell phones and I think the cloud-based and then some passwords, etc., that all be preserved. As I say, that's subject to further modification one way or the other, depending upon what is discovered during the course of this matter. So,
Thank you.
all right, we have a further date that gents and ladies that work.
We haven't discussed one yet.
Let me confer with counsel.
Go ahead.
I think we can come up with a date in just a
Go ahead. Sure. Sir, you can be seated. You don't need to continue to stand. Thank you.
Kevin Spacey, he looks like he's trying to, play things by the book. Still looks very, very nervous though. In my opinion, he looks very, very nervous.
May I consult my cell phone real quick?
Sure.
It's got my calendar on it. I apologize.
Your Honor, Mr. Jackson is admitted pro hac vice. I'm local counsel on the case. Are you going to require my appearance from someone from my office at all proceedings?
Are you in already? I know you came in so that he could enter the pro hac vice, but is
Yes, I do have a notice of appearance on file, and Mr. Jackson is filing one today as well.
so your appearance is already in?
My appearance is in.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Yeah.
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, counsel and I have discussed informally a date of the 4th of March, which is a Monday. I understand that's most convenient for the court.
Yeah, that's right. That's jury week is in February, so March 4th would probably work.
And counsel and I also discussed off the record, and I would ask for the court's guidance on this. He has no objection. The Commonwealth has no objection to Mr. Spacey not making that appearance. I can make that appearance on his behalf, along with Ms. Valero, if need be, without him having to be there on that date.
No, and that's fine. His appearance can be waived. However, he should be, the rule requires that he be available, so he should at least be on the other end of the phone if there's some reason that he needs to be contacted.
Absolutely.
But his appearance can be waived.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Kevin Spacey doesn't want to appear, and it's pretty obvious, when you're a huge media Hollywood figure, you don't want to be out in the public looking bad, so it's always going to be better for his lawyer to be there as opposed to Kevin Spacey himself. he can, be contacted on the phone or whatever. But Kevin Spacey is making a strategic move. His lawyer's making a strategic move is keep him out of the public eye as much as possible because this looks really, really bad on him, and obviously is going to have a negative impact on Kevin Spacey's career.
Schedule that, Your Honor, for 11 a.m. again.
Sure. You all set? Anything additional, folks?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
No? All right. Thank you all for your help. I'm going to step off, and then the camera people can break down their equipment, and those connected with the case can depart. Thank you very much.
Okay, this case has been continued to March 4th, 2019 for pretrial hearing at 11 a.m. The defendant's appearance has been waived. Sir, you should report to the probation department before you leave the building in order to sign the conditions of stay away and no contact with the victim and the victim. Thank you.
So, probation, no contact with the victim, purposely or inadvertently. And as you can hear, just to make it clear, his public appearance has been waived for the, March 4th hearing. So, like I said, it's a strategic move, in my opinion, because this looks really, really bad. So, keep him out of the public view, keep him out of the cameras. And that's pretty much it with it. So, if you like the video, go ahead, please hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to continue to analyze more media. I'll continue to, stay involved in politics and hopefully, maybe come up with some solutions in the future. But right now, it does look like Kevin Spacey is pretty nervous. I think he's got a good understanding on how serious this is. And, it looks like he very well understands that he, in the near future, is going to be facing consequences for his actions.
Court can be recessed.
All right, that's it. So, thanks for everything. Have a good day.